topic for today. All right. Why would a man think a higher earning woman is less attractive? And the reason why I thought of this question is because of a recently surfacing, not interview, but video of a man who has some very interesting opinions about women who make a certain amount of money or who are just successful in their own right. So I'm going to go ahead and play that. And you guys tell me what you think.
A good job. I make very, very good money. And she says the only thing I need now is a man. It's like, yo, it's like who wants you? Who wants you? You're right. Like once you have achieved these things, you have unfortunately disqualified yourself.
Ooh, and shit.
And what it is these and this is the thing. I'm not blaming
the women are gonna hate him for that shit. They are gonna hate him for that.
They should.
All right. So I thought that was very interesting.
Is this real?
Yes. That's your first time seeing
it? How they were hyping each other. I've seen it, but I've never played it.
It's real, girl. It's real.
They gonna hate you for this one. You heard that? That's real talk.
But I'm like, no, we're not gonna hate you. We're just gonna think you're a fool, like, and not have any respect for you. Like, it's just kind of crazy. And I mean, we are gonna dissect that. Okay, I understand. I can sense a lot of men like, well, she don't need a man, so why would you know what I mean? I could picture them going that route. But I want to hear what you guys got to say. What are your thoughts? Who wants to go first?
It's a hot mess. Okay. I was a man think a high earning. Sorry, that was some furniture falling. I have a business on the side. Anyway, why would a man think a higher earning woman is less attractive? I think attractive is such a odd word to use. No shade or anything like that. But just because you don't know how much a woman is earning when you're looking at her, that was the whole average at best argument, right? The whole, oh, well, when we look at you, we don't know how much you're making. So now all of a sudden it does factor into it. But nevertheless, I think this is one of those things that shoot men in the foot again, because if a paycheck is enough to scoot a man out the house, then you can't be mad when a woman looks at you as just a paycheck, because your whole argument is, oh, I can't be with you because you have a paycheck, you have all these things, you don't need a man anymore. Okay, so then if she only looks to you for all these things, then don't look for her to have any humanity for you. Don't look for any type of grace, any laying on your lap, talking to me at night. No, you're an ATM. Okay, that's what you bring. That's what you are. If not, then we can have a conversation. But it can't be both. It can't be, oh, well, if she got too much money, she don't need a man. But also, men are more than their wallet. It's more circular rhetoric that it just leads nowhere. It's pointless.
Yeah. Okay. What do you think? What do you think, Joel?
I mean, I'm with Raven. I mean, I think that on one hand, you have men who we're tired of being sponsors. We're tired of financing women. But then you have a woman who's capable of financially providing for herself. And all of a sudden now she's not qualified for the dating pool. She's reached the limit, or she can't find anybody because of her success. I think it has more to do how they see themselves. Like, I think I'm not enough, and deep down inside, I know that. So, you know what? I'm going to make her feel like, or I'm going to, state, oh, well, you're too successful. So now, and now you're outshining me. Like, it's just another dead end conversation that they use to avoid their own personal accountability for them being accountable for their own lives. Like I'm getting tired of these conversations about, men complaining about women do this, women do that. And it's like all the things that you're saying that we're doing, you're capable of doing these things yourself. You're capable of being financially successful for yourself. why do you have to, put a dig in me or make a comment like I'm never going to find anybody because I'm financially successful or I'm professionally successful? Like, that says more about you than it does about the woman. Like, really, come on. Like, exactly what Raven said. Just more of that rhetoric and more of that just chasing. It's like a dog chasing its tail. I don't want to be your sponsor. I don't want to have everything on me. You need to help me build. But then she has more than enough to help you build. Now she's too successful. Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
Because they like boys.
No.
The men gonna hate her for that.
I'm just kidding. I know, right? I'm just trolling, guys.
Raven likes to do that.
How honest can I be on here?
Be very honest, please.
This is the ladies' room. You're in a safe space.
Okay, great. So, how many of these cornballs are gonna get a podcast? Like,
too many.
And this is a problem. It's too many of these type of guys who have such a larger voice now, in which they didn't have a voice pre Kevin Samuels. And these type of topics are so offensive, because what if my accomplishments were so important to me? Like, I think for a lot of us, we are the first in our families to graduate from college, right?
Yeah.
So then for you to turn around and tell me I'm disqualified for getting into a relationship because of the hard work that I put into my life? Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah.
Like, and I just, it's these topics disgust me, because it's continuing to divide us as a community. We should be in the mindset of family. These are the types of conversations that we need to be having in the Black community, because I firmly believe that Black love is really going to get us through these trying times right now, right? But then you have all of these Kevin Samuelites, because that's what I call them, who now have a voice, who now have YouTube channels, and you're not saying anything that's helping us. So no. I'm so offended. I have not listened to that clip, and I'm really trying to avoid these women bashing podcasts. I really am, but they're everywhere now.
Mm-hmm. They are, and I know that a lot of people in my life who know me and know who I am are like, well, Ashley, why do you care? Like, you don't have to care about what these men think, and you don't even want those type of men. And that is very true. But at the same time, I understand what this rhetoric does to us as a people, and what it's doing to men, and how it's affecting the way they interact with women, and vice versa. It's not helpful. And as a single woman, I feel invested in it. It's like, I know I don't have to prove anything to anyone. I don't have to have these conversations with these men in these groups. And I've learned which conversations to take on and participate in, and which ones not to. But it's like, we have to start debunking some of these things and addressing some of these things, getting to the root of it, because these men are passing on these thoughts, and they're co-signing these toxic thoughts and these unproductive ways of thinking on to each other. And it's like reiterating things and making them think that, oh, this is right, this makes sense, and then they're passing it on to younger generations. So it's very important for me to talk about. And it's just sad. Like, Janelle, I love what you said. You said it wonderfully. It's interesting that, as a Black woman, my success is seen as a negative, and I'm going to bring this up a little later, but LinkedIn made a post in honor of Women's History Month, right, which is this month. And several of the women, not all of them, but several of the women were Black women. And they all had some type of profession. That's LinkedIn. LinkedIn is all about professions, right?
Right.
And so they were showing women who were successful in their own rights. And there was just so much negativity. And I'm going to show this to you guys, that the men, there are a lot of men on the post that were like, well, what about family? And I'm sick of Black women, promoting single motherhood. And, I'm sick of them promoting this image that they don't need a man. And I'm like, what? And what was so interesting is that every single one of those women are married. Every single one.
Right.
And, it was just,
right.
I'm just like, I can't fathom why, as a Black woman, for myself, who grew up on the west side of Chicago, in the 80s, cannot be celebrated for being successful, or going after a career. Think about where our parents came from. Some of them were just out of like civil rights movement, fighting to get certain jobs, so of course they, my mom, she do sharecroppers, like she saw the Deep South, when it was like, when one of the most racist, dangerous places to be for a Black person. And she spread these things into me, and including my grandfather, who died when I was very young, but from, he wanted me to be successful. You know what I mean? He wanted me to go on and fulfill dreams that they didn't have a chance to. And so now you have generations of Black women who are doing that. And the brothers are like acting like this is such a horrible thing. And it's just, it's really disheartening. And it just makes no sense to me.
But
and the scary part is there's a man right now working for a college fund for a daughter or a son, but a daughter that he wants to put through school. And we get sent the message by the men in our family, get your education. Yeah. And then you turn a certain age and it's like, what you gonna do with all that book knowledge? What how many jobs you got now?
Yeah.
That's really high up on the totem pole. How are you dealing with that? I've said it before in another show. It's like, when are we gonna be able to just really win in our community and have the backing of our community without all of these conditions and stipulations? You can be successful, but you can't be this level of success. And you can have kids, but you got to have them this way, and you can wear your natural hair in corporate America, but it's got to look this way. And all these different, every show, what do I say? The 204,000 things that a Black woman in that rule book that she has to do. Rule number 204,000. Don't make more money than your man. Like, it's just so much to keep up with. And it's like, why can't you guys take this as a kind of a cue to evolve and really promote success throughout our whole community, instead of just pick, and you're too successful, or I can't marry you, you make more money than me. Doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. Janelle, what were you going to add to that?
I was going to say that, honestly, a lot of this is rooted in the fact that in the Black community, we raise our daughters, but we take care of our sons. That's the source of a lot of this right there. These men are not pushed to do the things that we are pushed to do. I'm the oldest of 7. I learned how to cook. I learned how to take care of a house. I learned responsibility at a very young age. While the men in my family were allowed to do what they wanted to do. It just really didn't matter at all. And so a lot of these guys become adults, and they're pushing this rhetoric that we're talking about right now. Why are you all upset at the fact that our parents raised us differently? How are you all not seeing this? This is crazy.
Like, why is it a negative? And I understand, to be fair, right? There are some women who think that their degrees or their professional status makes them wife worthy. I don't know how y'all feel about that expression, but I hope you understand what I mean. I think that there are women out here who wear it like, a badge of entitlement. There are women who boast about their successes, and now I think that we should be proud of our successes and let people know.
But do you know these women personally, though?
I don't. But I'm not saying that it doesn't. I would assume that there are some out there, and I've seen it by.
But they make it seem like we lead with that. They make it seem like we lead with these things.
It honestly depends on the conversation, because today is we're too powerful. On Tuesday, we're welfare queens. It really just depends on for real. It depends on when we're having. That's why I said it's a circular rhetoric. If we talk about something else, all of a sudden, all y'all want to do is lay up on a Pookie and Ray Ray. So which one is it? Either we're getting degrees or we're laying up on a Pookie and Ray Ray. It can't be simultaneous. I can't take it. I can't.
One week they were celebrating Rihanna for all these business moves she's making and being the $1 billion Black woman. Now, she just like the rest of them. Now she's pregnant out of wedlock. Exactly. And it's just like, out of everything you can talk about with this young lady who has broken down so many barriers, and think about where she's from, the population. She's an island girl. It's like this big where she's from. And she has been able to just break down barriers for not just the Black community, but just with her music, her business, all different types of women of all different types of shades and colors. And the one thing that you're gonna nitpick about her is, she pregnant out of wedlock. Like you signing Rihanna's welfare checks. Like
all that means is that she doesn't have.
She got the means to take care of her own child.
Exactly.
And I think that's the problem. Like, I tell people this all the time in therapy. Whenever you start worrying about things that are not within your control, worrying about things that really have nothing to do with you, you are deflecting from where the real work needs to begin. And that's with you. You see something in that person that you want, but instead of just saying that, it's something wrong with your success.
And see, that's why I wanted to piggyback off what you said about picking. It's kind of like the pickup artists do the whole, we're going to bring her self-esteem down. We're going to neg her. Whatever the case is, that's why I say on Tuesday, we're welfare queens. On Mondays, we're boss bitches. So it's just whatever they have to say to get the most coochie at that moment. That's all. I'm serious. Okay, so when I joined this specific group that shall not be named, I was very down for... you call me a pick-me. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I was very down for a Black man being in leadership. And then I met these Kevin Samuelites. And I was like, oh, y'all niggas for real. Oh, y'all exist. Because I thought, I'm so sorry, cousin. I know you might not, whatever. I only have like one cousin like that. And I pick on him all the time. I have no shame because he goes with, Black women ain't this. Everybody in my family is married to beautiful Black men, take care of the kids. How are you talking about Black women are trash when all these Black women around you? My grandmother had like 6 daughters. All these Black women with children. How are you talking about Black women welfare queens and baby mamas? That's not even your reality. Nevertheless, I thought it was just him.
It's the whole community. It's the whole community.
It's like
a whole community of
this is ridiculous.
A whole community of common denominators. Yes. And the common denominator is, I am the guy who has not yet married. I am the guy who has not had a successful long-term relationship.
He went to the Philippines and still couldn't bag of it.
It's one more piece to that, honey. It's one more piece. They are the guys who were rejected by a woman that they really wanted to be with. And that woman ended up with a Pookie or a Ray Ray or whoever. He don't even have to be
exactly. It can be,
and that's why they cannot stand single mothers, because at one point they wanted a woman who is now a single mother. So it's like, be honest about the level of trauma you've been through when it comes with dating, and then we can address that.
Exactly.
See, my thing is the trauma is like from 5th grade. If you ever sat down with these men, because like I said, I thought it was just my cousin. So I've been giving them, let me give you benefit of the doubt. Oh yeah, this heifer from 6th grade called me a burnt. That's it? 6th grade? You need to go have a seat in the corner. This is not it. No. 40 years old. I can't take it.
But when your ego is fragile, right?
Yes.
You can remember something from the 4th, 5th grade.
Exactly.
I don't remember anything from back then.
And I won't say it's not trauma, but it just strikes me as odd because
it is trauma.
And exactly, they will hold that one heartbreak from a woman and get beat up by 15 dudes their whole life. I got jumped by 5 men, but I trust black men. And which one is it? And these dudes done beat you up all up and down Southside, but this one girl makes you hate all black women. I can't take it. I can't. And then I can't.
It's a lot. It's a lot to take in, and it's just going back to what you all said about the childhood trauma. I'm always reminding people too that you're holding people accountable who, at the time, even yourself or them, their brain wasn't fully developed to even make effective decisions in their life. Like, when you gonna unpack that and just realize that, instead of you,
they don't need therapy.
Instead of you doing like, I saw somebody do online the other day, just happy that somebody he used to date is divorced with kids now. And it's like, why are you glorifying that? Like, why are you finding joy in somebody else's misery or pain or difficulty right now? I'm going to tell you why. It's not that she messed up. It's that you're not really a happy person. Whenever you have to criticize like 24/7 and you're really just breaking down just about everything you come in contact with, that says more about you as a person than it does the black community. It says more about, I mean, y'all know where I'm about to go with this. The whole slavery mentality. They utterly and completely studied ways to really break us down psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, until we started becoming you got external slaves, the external part where you're doing the work, and then you got that internal mentality that they were able to tap into. That's why slavery lasted so long. One of the reasons why anyway. And so I just look at these guys as they're almost a slave to the Samuelite. They're almost a slave to themselves. They just.
So is this why Kanye said slavery was a choice? Because I can't.
I guess they choose it, Raven. I guess they choose it.
I can't with this perpetual victimhood. I can't do it. It's somebody's making a choice. Is that mine?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I got cut off, y'all. But what I was saying is kind of like what you were getting at, Janelle, which was, their angle or the claim is that a lot of women, black women specifically, become arrogant or act like we don't need a man once we get a job or a high-paying job or a decent career. They attach all these negative things and kind of put it back on us and make it seem like, oh, well, we don't want those women because they are, too high and mighty or they think they're better than they are. But the truth of the matter is most of us are not that way. I think that is the tactic to try to, continue to push this narrative that, a successful black woman is just so horrible, or that's anti-family. When every single college educated, successful, and or high paying black woman that I know want to be married, and some of them are married, and many of them are married with children, and they are juggling it all. You know what I mean? So it's just like a successful black woman is not equivalent to, single and anti-family or anti, white. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you can have both, but the narrative, because of what Janelle was talking about, a lot of our boys weren't encouraged and pushed like we were to do certain things. So now it's like, okay, wait a minute. I have to figure out some type of tactic, to put it, to make this a negative thing about not me, but about, black women. So, yeah. I didn't articulate that as well as I wanted to, but I hope you guys are getting the point.
Do you think that a lot of black women are bringing these power dynamics that they have at work, they're bringing it home? Because I do recognize that how our friends are when it's one-on-one, when it's a group of women, is very different from how that woman is at home with that man. And maybe there's something that us as women are not seeing that other women are doing, and we probably will never be privy to it. But I think that there is some belief. I do have some belief that some women think that they are the boss of that household, and that's why we keep having these conversations. So, and if that's the case, and I want to bring up an example. A friend of mine told me that he was dating this girl, and she put him on a PIP. Do you all know what a PIP is? So in corporate America, a PIP is a performance improvement plan. So it's like a 6 to 8 month plan in which you have a set of goals that you have to achieve by a specific deadline. And if you don't meet those goals, you get fired. And this is like the warning in corporate America that you get before they, can you or whatever. So this Black woman put her boyfriend on a PIP. And when I heard this, I'm like, what? Like, she bringing work home? Like, you can't do that, right? But it is a possibility that those dynamics are appearing in these households. And that's why these guys are having these conversations. And if that's the case, us as women, we have to hold other women accountable to make sure that they're not doing that. Go ahead.
Now, sorry, mother.
Go ahead, Reagan.
I've been nanny. I've been a nanny for like 10 some odd years. This will be my first year not nanny. So y'all pray for me. But what I will say is a lot of times I work for, I guess, power couples, women that have high careers. They don't want to give it up. They want to work hard. And what she said about the PIP is very similar to the dynamic that I have seen where women are just like, you said 50-50, the baby go down. And I'm just like, you have a whole schedule. You weren't playing, ma'am. Okay. But to be fair, those men like those women when they first got with them because, they'll complain, they'll complain to everybody. Oh, she too aggressive. She too this. Did she change? No, but I thought she would stop. You thought wrong, sir. That is who that woman was. She was a go-getter. She was an aggressive woman. There are so many women that are not like that, but if you like it, I love it. But you can't pick that woman, be with her for years, then have her put a baby in and all of a sudden want her to fall in line and be somebody she's not. If you want her to change, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, you pick the bull, you got the bull. There are some women that are bullheaded, just like there are men that are like that. I've seen men that actually enjoy being picked. Like I said, you like it, I love it, man. I don't know what to tell you. She don't get to switch it up in the middle of the marriage.
Yeah.
You can go to wrestling, but
yeah. And well, so here's the thing. I do think that, that happens. That happens a lot.